Hello and welcome to another edition of Ask the Attorney Anything. I am Rebecca Zung and I'm here with you live and I'm here to answer your questions. So I would love to know where you're all tuning in from too, by the way. And I see that I already have lots of questions waiting for me. So glad that you all are here and so grateful for the opportunity for me to be able to connect with you on, like a live basis and answer your questions here, because a lot of you, with the questions that you have are the same questions that a lot of people have as well. So it's really, really helpful sometimes to be able to just hear me answer other people's questions, because it can also help you as well. So the first question that I have is from Angela. And Angela is asking, what happens when the narc finds out that his new supply is fake and he was catfished? Will he be so angry he was fooled and change what he has agreed on in the divorce with me, the 10-year wife? So just understand that the narcissist is seeking out supply from anywhere that they can get it. And if they feel that there's a discard going on over here, then they will definitely seek out a new source of supply. And they'll be love bombing over here with the new source of supply while they're dealing with the discard over here. But they still want to get supply from everywhere that they possibly can. So while they're love bombing over here to groom their new source of supply, they're still getting supply from the old source of supply by continuing to make your life miserable, to try to control you, intimidate you, and go through all of the things that they do, especially in a divorce case, which looks like, behavior like not providing documents that they're supposed to provide, ignoring court orders, lying, manipulating text messages and emails and things like that. So if they think that their new form of supply is already failing them, then they will continue to want to get supply from wherever they can. They are supply whores. And so if coming back to you, Angela, and reneging on an agreement will make you miserable and continue to control you and intimidate you, then absolutely he may want to come back and do that. The only way that you can stop that is by letting them know either that there's no supply to be had from you, or that the supply that they get from making you miserable is not going to be worth retaining, because you are now threatening a supply source that means more to them. So, platinum level supply, there's like a hierarchy of supply for narcissists, and platinum level supply is going to be how they look, their reputation in the community, how they look to people that mean something to them, that they respect, like judges, lawyers, other people involved in the process. And if they think that they're going to look bad, then they will let go, reluctantly, albeit, from the supply that they get from making your life miserable. So that's how they work, and that's the key. And the key to that is building that leverage, which is the L in my SLAY program. So strategy, leverage, anticipate what they're going to do and be 2 steps ahead of them, and focus on you, your position, and your case. Without the SLAY methodology, you set yourself up for failure. With the SLAY methodology, you set yourself up for success. So that would be the opposite of that. Okay, so that's my answer to you, Angela. Thanks for a great question. And hi, VL in Montreal, Quebec. Love Quebec. Just a thanks. I love your work. Thank you so much. Thank you for acknowledging me. I really appreciate that. All right. So question from Michelle. What are my options in Florida if the narc has custody and our child has suffered mentally For the past several years, but especially last year, child 13 was suicidal in March, and narc said child was making it up. So you know that I cannot give legal advice on here. I give, ideas, my thoughts. I do suggest that you always consult a lawyer in your particular state, jurisdiction, or country. So I want to make sure that I do say that. But as far as Florida is concerned, I do want you to know, Michelle, that because I am licensed as an attorney in Florida, I can tell you that I do know that they recently just changed the statute in Florida. You no longer have to have both parties consent in order to bring the child to therapy. So you only need one parent's consent. And so if you want to bring the child to therapy, you can do that in Florida. And you're saying now narc has placed child in facility because child wanted to commit suicide. First of all, let me just tell you, my heart goes out to you. It sounds like a horrible, horrible situation. Your options for child safety and welfare. What I would suggest that you do, you have to go through the judge, because remember, the only person that has any power over anyone else is the judge. So I do suggest that you file for a modification of the time-sharing plan, or at least a modification of the parental control. So, giving you the ultimate decision-making authority around medical and educational decisions. And you're going to have to, if there's already a parenting plan in place and already a final judgment in place, you're going to have to ask for a modification of that, and you're going to have to prove that there's been a substantial change in circumstances that was not foreseeable at the time of the final judgment. You may want to ask for a custody evaluator, which is a psychologist, to get involved so that the psychologist can help the court with determining a parenting plan, including decision-making authority that's going to be in the best interest of the child, as well as maybe asking the court to appoint a therapist for the child if that's needed. So my heart goes out to you. I'm sure it's a horrible situation, but the best route that you're going to have is seeking relief from the judge, because the judge is the only person that's going to be able to order anybody to do anything. Okay, so let's see. Oh my goodness, so many great questions. Let's see. Okay, Michelle, I'm Canadian. I have a house in the USA. He has never paid a bill. We've been separated for 9 years. How do I sell if he won't sign the deal or the quit claim deed? So you need to file an action for with the court, asking the court to order the sale. I know in Florida it's called an action for partition. I don't know what it would be called in whatever state the home is in where you are, but the court is going to have what we call in rem jurisdiction, which is jurisdiction over the real estate. So the court can order it to be sold. And courts do not like to divide indivisible assets, and real estate is considered an indivisible asset. So if you guys can't come to an agreement on it, then the court can and will order it sold. So I would just ask the judge to do that. Let's see. What can you do if your motion for a new trial has been denied and motion 473B? How can you request for a new judge? And that's a question from Joyce. So again, I don't know, what state or jurisdiction you're in, but if a motion for new trial has been denied, then it would seem to me like the appellate level would be your next step. You can always ask the, go to the next highest court if you have an appealable issue, but you need to make sure you have an appealable issue, that there was an error as a matter of law or something like that. But that's something that you should talk to your lawyer about if you actually have grounds for an appeal. As far as requesting for a new judge, if you already have a final judgment entered, then getting a new judge in that same strata of like that same trial court is not going to help you at all, because you don't have any jurisdiction to do that. But if you are still in the middle of a case and you want a new judge, then you're going to have to look at the grounds for recusal of the particular judge that you are assigned to at this point. Those are kind of two different questions, just so you know. So like a new judge is a different issue than whether or not you can appeal an order that's already been entered. And if the order was entered and it's the middle of a case, then we call that an interlocutory appeal. And there's really only very specific grounds that you can ask for review from an appellate court for an interlocutory appeal. You're going to have to prove that there's going to be like prejudice to you or irreversible error or something like that in order to get it. But there's going to be very specific grounds that you can ask for an appellate court to get involved in a case that's continuing, that's still pending. Okay, I hope that you can understand what I'm saying there. Okay. This is a question from Tom. Hi, Rebecca. What steps could be taken if you suspect the narcissist to have manipulated your car, but are in no contact and have no evidence? I mean, if you have no evidence and it's just a suspicion, it's probably not going to help you very much. What I would say is try to gather information and documentation to show that other things have been going on and try to actually get something together that you can prove. Because when you go to the judge is going to expect you to present some kind of evidence, even if it's your testimony, which, your testimony is certainly admissible. But if you just say, I just suspect it, but I can't prove it, you're probably going to have a hard time with that. Okay, so thank you, Left Foot. Bless you, Rebecca, in this community from London, England. Thank you, and bless you back. I send you definitely blessings back. All right. Let's see. Kitty K is saying, thank you for your videos. They are a lifeline. I'm so glad to hear that. Very much so. So Kitty is also asking, is there a way out of an affidavit of support of immigrant after 5 years? I am desperate for out. He has me trapped. I fear international kidnapping. So I'm not familiar with immigration laws at all. I would definitely, that's a question for a lawyer in your particular state, jurisdiction, or country. But, if you already have some kind of order in place and you want it to be modified, then that's something that, a lawyer may be able to help you do. Let's see. Is there an advantage to exposing the narc to his family who are encouraging him to pursue custody when they have no idea what he's done? And this is a question from the Unique grave, I think. If yes, how would exposing him be viewed in court? So again, this is a really good question. I like this question because it goes back to what I was saying before about the forms of supply. You know, certain forms of supply are going to mean more to the narcissist to keep than the supply that they get from making your life miserable. There's a hierarchy of supply in the narcissist world, in their really screwed up, messed up world. And so potentially exposing, I think where you're going to be better served, though, to be honest with you, is like the threat of exposing him to these people and then presenting it in terms of a settlement proposal. It's, you know, and that's what I go into in my SLAY program. It's like you have your leverage, you use it when you need to, and then, you know, but the timing is really, really important. You definitely do not give away your leverage before you're ready to present what it is that you want, have them sign. Because if you use that leverage and it's already done, that damage is done, and then you didn't use it to your advantage to get what you wanted in a kind of a barter situation, then you kind of wasted that leverage. So if you want to know more about exposing a narcissist in court, by the way, definitely check out my video on how to expose a narcissist in court. I do talk more about that specifically in a whole long video. Okay. So, all right. Well, thank you all for today. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. I want to see all of you liking this video right now. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, now is a good time to do that. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you haven't gotten my free ebook, which is my Crush My Negotiation worksheet, you should definitely do that. I've had people who have written to us telling us that they've won their entire mediations or negotiations just on my free ebook. So there's tons of really good content in there. So make sure you get that at winmynegotiation.com. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you also come join us in my free private Facebook group, which is Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. And we'll make sure that links to all this stuff are below as well. So thank you all for joining me today. If I didn't get to your question, my next AAA session will be on Thursday at noon Pacific, or join me in my free webinar. You can join me there too, and we'll make sure that there's a link to that below as well. So for all of you, I know that you are in hell. I've been there. I've dealt with it myself as a lawyer and in my personal life. And so my heart goes out to you. And I send you light, and I send you love, and I send you courage and strength and support, and keep coming back so that you can get the resources that you need for actual step-by-step guidance to get out of these relationships with these narcissists. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.